Today on episode 98, our Brian Robinson episode of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, an interview with our guy Dom Frederic, media recommendations, and the TCF Top 5 Sit-Down Restaurant Meal. Let's roll. Hello and welcome to episode 98 of Typical Chicago Fans. It is me, Boomy, on Twitter at BoomyTCF. Make sure to follow the main page at typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook and Instagram. Type in Typical Chicago Fans, like those pages. Head over to YouTube as well. Subscribe there for all of our content in video form. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. Make sure you follow us on those. But make sure to follow the guys that I am joined with tonight on Twitter. That is, of course, Zach at ZLiliaTCF and Maddie at schools_01. Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at 26shirts.com Chicago. Make sure to head over to their website, 26shirts.com/Chicago, to check out some of the coolest Chicago sports merchandise around. They've got everything from the shirt you see behind me, hats, hoodies, flags, whatever you need. Make sure to head over to their website. They help out good causes in the city and make great clothing. Helps out the podcast. Use promo code Typical Chicago Fans for 15% off your order. Let them know that we sent you. Great website, great shirts, great causes. You can't go wrong. 26shirts.com/Chicago. Promo code Typical Chicago Fans. Boys, episode 98, the Brian Robinson episode. I have no idea who Brian Robinson is. Matt, you're our local Bears historian. What do you got on Brian Robinson?
Most memorable play for Brian Robinson was play up in Lambeau, actually, the week that Walter Payton died. The Bears were playing in Lambeau. Green Bay went to win the game on a field goal, short field goal. Brian Robinson, lifted by the wings of Walter Payton in heaven, lifted him up above the line, swatted the field goal away. Bears win. Just to honor Walter Payton's passing that week. So that's what Brian Robinson has a special place in Bears history, to say the least.
Yeah, you tied with, incredible or not incredible, that's the wrong word, but like giant moments. Your first game after Walter Payton passes away.
Good player. Had a solid career too. He had I think he probably, my guess, one year his high, I would guess 8 sacks. I'll throw that out there. Would be my
D-lineman, right?
Guess. Yes, D-lineman. Yep. Interior mainly, yes.
Gotcha, right on. Well, boys, as always, let's jump into it. Sinkers and floaters. You guys are not going to like my sinker this week, and that's because it's Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, there was a video that surfaced that Jay Cutler made someone, said he'd take a picture with them if they chugged the pitcher. Come on, man, just take the picture. You don't have to force this guy to drink a pitcher of beer. Just take the picture with the guy.
Dance like a monkey. Come on, dance for me.
Maybe was he having fun with it? You don't know.
That's my point. Pull the puppet strings a little bit. Make me giggle. Make me laugh.
I guess he is retired. He's got to find some entertainment. That's one way to do it.
He's never been known to be the nicest guy either. So.
Yeah, that's true.
He's spent half of the pandemic, chasing the killer of his chickens. So give the guy a little bit of a break here.
He's cutting loose a little bit, making people chug beers to take pictures with. So.
Yeah,
you got to find entertainment where you can. I just had to take a subtle shot. You guys know
Fair enough.
All right, boys. My sinker is finding baseball cards. I've looked all over. I went to Walmart's, Targets. I mean, that's where you would think, there'd be baseball cards. Oh, they were there, but no longer are they there. I mean, every place around us. I think my parents got like 3 or 4 boxes from one place of baseball cards, but I went to places, hockey, baseball, football, all the cards gone.
Obviously trading cards are having a gigantic resurgence in the last year.
But what is making a comeback is the opening of the cards.
Yes.
That's the huge thing. Everyone likes to open the card, open the packs and see what happens and stuff like that. Like that's the big thing now. So that's, I guess, why it's so hard to find them.
Sure.
I think my sister said one of the places was like you can only take so many.
Yeah.
So
It's like toilet paper a year ago.
That's crazy.
No,
Yeah, that is insane. But, like, did you end up, you said you popped a couple NASCAR? I didn't even know
Yeah,
that
I got
NASCAR.
them right here.
That was news to me.
Literally the only ones I could find at like the 3 places I went
I
locally.
always remember like growing up when I was into cards, like buying a ton at Target. So when you were talking, were texting me yesterday, I'm like, nothing even at Target. They had the best selection there. So that was, I mean, for every single place. I mean, that just shows you how big
they still did, but they just weren't there anymore.
Yeah, people are buying them like crazy. They're gone in 2 seconds.
what a world. All right, my sinker is the blessing of having the nice weather that we've had this last weekend. The downfall is backyards for dog owners.
Oh, yeah.
When this starts to thaw, and
So Maddie,
Oh, boy.
I live in town now, so I was driving I think I went to my parents' house, and you see people outside picking up dog poop.
yeah,
It's that time, and I guess I didn't really realize it, but a lot of people just let their dogs just go poop right outside, and then they have to. Now that the snow is melting, there's a problem.
I might need an excavator. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, it's bad at my house too. She goes out of the front door, and I noticed it the other day, and I'm gonna have to get a rake and a shovel and just put it into the field
Well,
because
especially it's been 3 or 4 weeks since you've like wanted to actually go out and do something like that.
Right. That's not the first chore I want on my to-do list when I get to go outside is rake up dog poop because there is going to be buckets full.
I agree completely.
My floater is also animal related, and that is because my floater is Brandy the tabby cat. Brandy went astray 15 years ago. 2005, they got this cat, 2-month-old kitten they named Brandy, and it was reunited with its family this past month. 15 years. And the reason I had to use this is because I've done some of these stories before. And like,
how do you still know that's the same cat?
Dude, I'm telling you, it is. And
that thing would change so much in 15 years.
That's insane.
That I don't have answers for you. But Brandy was found safe about 40 miles from where her owners live. But yeah, she was gone for 15 years. Like, it's crazy. Like, you see sometimes, like, there was one I think I brought up that, like, these people lost their dog where they were in vacation in Florida, and the dog was, like, found, like 5 years later or whatever, 2 years later. But 15 years, like 2005, I was a freshman in high school when this cat went missing, and it was reunited, after my 30th birthday. That is insane.
That's
15
nuts.
years.
That's
tough.
Nuts. That's tough to believe.
It's a feel-good story, Zach. Why you gotta poo-poo everything?
I'm sorry.
This poor cat God knows this cat has, I wish this cat could talk because this cat has seen some things, all right? 15 years in California, this cat's seen some stuff.
Do you know what the cat might say?
I'm Brandy the cat.
I'm not who you think I am.
You're a hater. I don't need this. Brandy the tabby cat doesn't need this kind of hate from you, Zachary.
I apologize. All right, my floater, Paul Macbeth. This is the disc golfer who just got 10 years, $10 million to be
change, bro.
To disc golf. Fellas, we're talking. I understand maybe that doesn't seem, it's only $1 million a year to disc golf. And that's just saying whatever he signed. He still has endorsements and stuff. That's crazy. I didn't even know there's like kind of like a tour, a disc golf tour.
Yeah.
In a
I've
way.
seen it on like those like really dry days on ESPN.
Me and Boomy have a spring/summer full of disc golf.
And we stink at it, but
I'm horrible, but it's a lot of fun.
Right now, Boomy, just wait. Just wait.
Oh, yeah. Now we know that there's an incentive of making $1 million a year. I'm going to try a little harder.
Oh yeah. It's gonna get intense. Let's just say that.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
All right, boys. My floaters. I'm getting the Peloton. Trying to do these things. Trying to shed some pounds.
Matt actually ordered that 3 years ago.
No, so wait, a couple weeks it's here. But this week it's the NutriBullet, and I bought this thing a while back, like probably I'd say a year ago at least. And it makes really like easy like fruit and like vegetable smoothies with like you throw a little spinach, some fruit, and got a pretty good smoothie pretty quick. Nice and easy breakfast kind of thing. But not all things designed for nutritious things have to be for nutritious items. And I figured out this thing makes one hell of a milkshake, boys. It was literally strawberries, ice cream, milk. And it was like one of the best shakes I've had in a long time in about 14 seconds.
So you're
Matt,
telling
me find out what I can do for a margarita.
See, I'm not the frozen drink guy. That's not really my thing. I don't know. The milkshake, though, my God, you can steal me with a milkshake. There's no.
You're telling me you bought a high-powered blender?
Well, no. This one specifically. I've had good blenders.
I know.
This one isn't a blender thing. I've had really good blenders.
It's funny that
this little thing,
bought this thing and now it's a milkshake. That's what I would do with it for sure.
It's no longer going to be blending spinach. I'll just put it that way.
And that's a good thing.
Well, it is a scientific fact, Matt, that ice cream.
What was that?
That was not a subtle shot calling you fat.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. He's always calling me fat. I'm not surprised. But I mean,
ice cream.
If you could make a milkshake in 6 seconds, that is literally like ice cream shop quality. Like,
oh my gosh.
I mean, this is revolutionary in my opinion. I'm sorry, it just is.
We got
one of the Shamrock Shake. Oh my gosh,
dude! I bought a. I'm gonna throw. I think we've got like a peanut butter cup ice cream. I'm gonna try that one tomorrow. Drop some of that in there. A little milk. Boom. Peanut butter chocolate shake.
Can't beat that. Maybe got a couple extra Christmas Reese's laying around.
Yeah.
Drop
maybe Boomy can call me fat again though too. That's cool.
Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it when I heard it, but then when I heard it, I was like,
there's too many T's. I got mixed up.
Got my back. That's cool though.
I apologize, Matt. You're not fat.
I don't accept.
Fair enough. Let's move into the TCF Sports Minute. We got to start, boys, with the Bulls. Bulls had an opportunity this past Friday. They are off. They were off Sunday due to the Toronto/Tampa Bay Raptors having COVID
they
issues.
Play Monday, though, right?
They host the Nuggets on Monday. They had a really nice opportunity for a really good win against a great Phoenix team. And the second half, they just couldn't have possibly played worse.
Bad.
And like we continue to say, and I feel like we're just beating a dead horse, is that like there is obviously improvements, but like that's a kind of win you need. You were up big, and the fourth quarter, they reverted back and looked like the
do that. You can't have a loss like that when you're trending up. You're playing better, and then you're at home against a good Phoenix Suns team. You get off to such a good lead, and you lose that game. Like that's just a win you need to end a good month.
Yeah. And like you said on the Daily Show a couple days ago, I think it was their first winning month in like 4 years.
Since 2017.
Yeah, like those are the kind of wins you need. You're at home, you were up, 16?
Mm-hmm.
And then you blow it like that. Like that stuff's got to stop. But obviously I believe they have 2 or 3 more games before the All-Star break, and Zach LaVine will be competing in that. Always good to have a Bull on the All-Star team. But let's move into some hockey. The Blackhawks take one square on the chin on Saturday night, a 5-3 loss to the Red Wings, but bounced back last night with a gigantic 7-2 win over those same Red Wings. Patty Kane, 400 career goals. How long do you guys think that the Blackhawks can – is this just a flash in the pan, or is this like a legit – like this team might sneak into the playoffs, or do you see it fizzling out?
They're going to get in the playoffs.
They'll be in the
will get
playoffs,
into the
and
playoffs.
it's just how healthy they can be once they get to the playoffs. And
Well, they're not going to get Kane, or excuse me, they're not going to get Taves or Doc back.
that's not even what I mean. That's not what I mean. I mean, if knock on wood, if
no one else you're saying
Kane
gets hurt
goes down right now,
Yeah, I got you. I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you were saying. I'm sorry.
No. I probably said that wrong. But what I mean is if Kane is the leader of this team, and without him, I don't think this team goes anywhere. Really, you know what I mean?
No, they're going right to the tank if they don't have him. He makes DeBrincat elite right now. DeBrincat's an elite level offensive player at this moment. The way he's playing.
Even without DeBrincat, that's huge. Like he's playing so well. Like these young guys,
Right.
yes, they're playing well, but I mean, Kane, he is doing something else right now.
Well, the thing is they keep getting points, and they keep getting two, whether it's an overtime or not. They're getting two, and they're every night's a division game. And when you're getting two every night, you're putting separation between yourself and everybody else. So just by default, there's not a lot of ways to catch them. Dallas has a lot of games in hand. Dallas has to win a lot in a short amount of time, and that is not going to be easy on them. And they're not that good. This is not the same Dallas team that you saw in the Cup Finals last year. I can tell you that. They just aren't. And, maybe it's the Cup hangover, the runner-up hangover, whatever it may be. I like the Hawks' chances against that team when it comes down to chasing that last spot, especially if they're going to keep getting good games from Lincoln, and like they did tonight. They're going to keep getting, like I keep pounding the drum, but Ian Mitchell's getting better and better every night on the ice. And like you said, Zach, you got all-world Kane, and he's playing all-world right now. And you're getting scrappy effort. You're getting, you get to play the Red Wings here again soon as well. It's not a bad thing. So, just keep racking up two, keep getting scratching and clawing whatever way you got. The playoffs are in their possession if they want it. So go on and grab it, man.
Take away last night's win 7-2 over Detroit. How much stock do you put into that really ugly loss on Saturday?
Put a lot less after tonight when they just rolled.
It's gonna happen in a season like this. You play teams so much, and you're gonna get caught in a night like that.
Yeah, sure. See, Malcolm Subban had a rough game, and it's just what it comes down to.
But the bounce back, like you said, Maddie, it shows you
that shows you more.
One loss won't phase them.
Well, and they're starting to get some respect too, as you can see just in gambling lines alone. I think on Saturday they were a minus 150. On Sunday they were minus 190. Same teams, same stadium, but they went from a minus 150 after a loss to minus 190. So obviously there was some expected bounce back from the team that's proven to be, a really solid NHL team this year, like it or not.
Absolutely, it's fun to watch, and that's what we continue to talk about. It's the best part of it, man.
Absolutely.
Cubs and Sox have kicked off spring training. The Sox lost on Sunday. The Cubs will kick off today in a game against the Padres, which we will see Kyle Hendricks and Chris Paddock go at each other. We'll get a little bit deeper into that in our Dom Frederic interview. But, guys, spring training is here, a new day. How much stock, are you checking Cub scores every single day? Are you checking box scores in spring training?
No.
I'm watching the first few innings, seeing the guys who are going to play, but really no.
Yeah.
No, there's plenty of people on Twitter to tell you everything that happens. So
you just really can't, because they're just out there, especially most of the Cubs players. It's not the roster is not going to change because of spring training. Sure. So guys are just out there just trying to get their work in and get ready for the season. There's not really a lot of fighting for positions.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think I'd maybe check like a detailed box score maybe like every third day.
Yeah, you try to stay like up to date or whatever, but you don't want to overreact.
And
The
this year,
Twitter GMs take care of that for you.
yeah, that's very true. Very true. And this year is obviously a little bit different. They're allowing teams, if there's a mutual agreement, they can end games at, I think, any point after 5 innings. I think we saw 3 games today on opening, or yesterday on Sunday, the opening day, called it quits after 6 innings. I think only 2 games on Sunday went the full length. So it's
Not the worst idea.
No, not at all. Especially like I was talking to my brother, and I said, like, if you can get the guys you want and you can get your pitchers the amount, because what's the point of playing a 7th, 8th, and 9th inning if you're just putting guys out there and just tiring their arms out?
Just
Obviously, I think teams are going to
more
go
risk of people getting hurt.
right. Exactly. So the games are going to go a little bit longer when maybe towards the end when you're getting ready to make cuts and stuff, and you need to see more out of guys. But I like what the MLB is doing in that aspect, and it was cool to see fans back in baseball games. So that was at least exciting. Before we wrap up the TCF Sports Minute, obviously today is March 1st, the best month of the year, in my opinion. Selection Sunday coming up 2 weeks from yesterday. So I got to ask, fellas, who do you think, if you were to pick right now, who are your top 4 seeds that would be your number ones?
I would go Michigan, Baylor, Gonzaga. Whew.
Can we all agree that those 3 are probably going to be 1 seeds, assuming nothing crazy happens?
Yeah, and then like Ohio State, but then they go out and have a game against Iowa like today.
I'll give you one. I'm going to throw one out there.
Roll Tide.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say, Matt. And I think if they can handle the SEC tournament, and right now they're sitting at 18-5. So even if they pick up one more loss, they come into the end of the season, they win the SEC tournament with 6 losses. I think you slide them in because obviously Illinois, Ohio State, Michigan, Iowa, only one of those is going to get out of the Big Ten tournament without a loss. Oklahoma's sitting in at 7. I don't think they're going to get through Baylor. Villanova.
Oklahoma, not after losing at home to Oklahoma State. You can't put them up there.
Yeah, Iowa.
Villanova lost to Butler, like you said, and then
if Florida State wins that game on Saturday at North Carolina, and they're sitting at 13,
but they didn't.
But they didn't. Old Roy got win number 900. But yeah, I truly think that if Alabama, even if they get to they don't lose a game. If they lose one game between now and the end of the SEC championship, even if that is the title game of the SEC, I still think, assuming that Michigan wins the Big Ten, I think you might see Alabama getting that last 1 seed.
I agree with you. I think Alabama is the 4th best team right now. I think the way that they play, I love Nate Oates. I think he's a fantastic coach.
I have a statement. I haven't been big into talking too much like past Baylor and Gonzaga. Fellas, I think Michigan's number 1.
Michigan's outstanding.
They are so good.
And the fact that they were off for 2 weeks and have dominated since Well,
if you're gonna have 2 bigs like Wagner and Dickinson play like they did, on Saturday night, forget it.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Who's their one loss? I cannot. I got to look at the schedule real quick. I cannot remember. Minnesota. So, I mean, I feel like even if Michigan doesn't win the Big Ten tournament, I mean, you're still a lock for the one.
I will say I like Florida State outside of the loss to Carolina or not. It was they dominated in the first half and just the wheels came off in the second. It was a very weird game for Florida State. Leonard Hamilton's a very, very good coach. I don't think he gets anywhere near the credit he deserves.
Roy said it right at the beginning of his press conference. He deserves to be a Hall of Famer. He is.
That dude is a very, very good coach.
He's fantastic, and he has a certain style, and they do it every year. They're long and lengthy and fast as hell. Like he is. You nailed it, Matt. He is a very underappreciated coach in college hoops.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see, the kind of draw that they get because I think, Carolina showed them that if you do have other bigs that can go against their bigs, because it's always Florida State's thing this year is their inside game's really tough. But Carolina got a huge game from Walker Kessler, the freshman, and it's one of those things where if you can counter good bigs with other strong bigs, you neutralize so much. And then Scotty Barnes was a little banged up. It was a weird game for Florida State. Outside of that, though, they have enough NBA talent, in my opinion. They're going to have probably 2 lottery picks, 3 lottery picks, possibly. I think they can go to the Final Four. I really do. I think they're as dangerous as anybody. And I know the ACC isn't that great this year, but Florida State's I think that's a different Florida State team than we've seen in the past, where it's been the volatile team that kind of struggles out of the gate in the tournament.
Yeah. They're going to be fun to watch. At absolute minimum, they're going to put on some electric games in the tournament. And guys, it's crazy to think that 2 weeks from Friday will be opening round of the NCAA tournament. But let's move into our Dom Frederic interview. Zach and Matt had a great chat with the Dom. So let's go ahead, throw it right to that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome back to the show, the GOAT of all guests to the TCF podcast and our morning shows. You know him as a director of morale for the Chicago Cubs. You've seen him frequently on the compound. The podcast with Zach Short, Dylan Meckus, and his best friend Ian Happ. You can find him on Instagram and Twitter at Dom_Frederic. I don't even know why we're doing intros for him anymore at this point. He's as much of a part of our show as anyone, but he's our Dom, ladies and gentlemen. Dom Frederic. Dom, what's happening, man? How are you tonight?
Thanks for having me again, Zach. I don't know if you ever running tab, but I think this is like 15 times.
Every time you come on, I say I will figure it out, and I just forget. But I will try.
You gotta get one of those scoreboards, like the in-home scoreboards, and put it up. So every time that Dom comes on, we'll tick it up one more time there, right over your shoulder.
Exactly. I'm very appreciative for being here. It's always the best, and baseball's obviously here. It's here, which is great. I'm super excited about it.
Before we get going, Ian Happ, you were talking about him. You accidentally sent him a text message the other day.
Yeah, no, I was. We were texting that day, and when you're, I'm assuming a lot of people do this, but you have to text someone and you think it's like you just press your whatever messages app and it pops up, and then you just type in whatever the first text you see, and then you send it off. I'm assuming you all have done that before, right?
Yes.
Yeah 1,000 times.
He was the first person there. He was the last person I texted. So I was like, send me because we had to go to Costco. And, and then I looked again. I looked back into my messages, and then he texted me back, and I was like, oh, no. Anyways, it was funny. And obviously he got the joke. And we ended up going to Costco. We got a lot of stuff in Costco the next day. I sent the message to the person who it was intended to after I found out I sent it to Ian by accident.
What's going through your head though in the meantime before you get the reply?
No, I didn't even know. No, I know.
So you were did know completely until he replied.
Idea. And when he texted me, I was like, I don't know why he's texting me right now. And then I saw it, and then I saw the response. I said, oh, whatever. But luckily this wasn't at the beginning of our relationship. Like the first, right after the first podcast or before the first podcast, and I did that because then I
better him than Yelich anyway.
Yeah. Well, Yelich has it coming. It's coming soon.
he needed help getting through that store anyway.
Yep, he would.
All right, Tom, let's get out of the Cubs, though. This season, it's going to be a little bit different. No longer the hunted. Everybody says this team's on the decline. They're rebuilding. Zach's got the bad news mug. RIP bad news for the Cubs anyway. He's going to the Padres, as we all know. But no longer the hunted. What does that mean for this roster full of veterans? Does it spark them at all? Does it get them going? Does it get them juiced up for the season? Does it stack them behind the 8 ball even further? Where are we at?
That's a great question. And I think that's a really good question because I guess I haven't really thought about how this has to do with the overall performance of the people we have here. I guess my mind has always thought, at least throughout this winter and going into this season, what can we take from 2021 that will build into 2022 and 23, 24, which is why I've talked about Nico and Adbert and some of the younger players that we have coming up that are going to create this next group. Why I've been so adamant about the possible extensions, hopefully at least one of them. So again, we know who's leading this group moving forward. In terms of your question specifically, I mean, I would hope that they would be. I mean, I'm listen. I know they're excited. I know they're happy to be there. I know they're happy to be around one another. I totally get that, and I don't think I'm coming from a very pessimistic viewpoint here. But the reality of it is, we've kind of heard this for many years. And again, I'm the hype man. You know what I mean? I'm the one who's pumping up these guys 24/7. I totally understand that. But eventually, I mean, it's got to happen. And I think specifically for the position players, and again, I've been as supportive as anyone on this app or on social media, wherever, on this team. But eventually, you got to prove it, right? And I hope that maybe this year they can all like truly come together in a way we haven't seen since like 2017, right? I mean, we've been kind of talking about the same stuff, the lack of contact, clutch hitting. I mean, again, some of it's like meatball takes, but it is real life things that have caused some poor results for this team or for the position players specifically. So again, I hope it motivates them, but they're going to have to play well if they're going to want contracts or if they're going to want like $100 million contracts, even like, talking like 50, 60, like $1 million. Again, the way the market is now, I understand Tatis signed that big deal, but a lot of these guys are now into their 30s, and that obviously doesn't bode well for free agency. So we'll see. My main focus overall is that, A, can we extend one or two guys so we know who's on the team moving forward? B, can Nico Horner and Adbert be real players moving forward? And then C, what's the development going to be like in terms of a Zach Davies? Is he actually a pitcher that you can rely upon and you can bring him back? Where's Brendan Davis throughout this season? Where's Braylon Marquez? That type of thing. So we can really figure out what happens to 2021, 22, 23, and 24. In the meantime, we still have the opportunity to beat the Cardinals, Brewers, Pirates, and the Dick Ballers, which in my mind is as rewarding as anything, even though I know we should be competing for championships. And I know I'm on a long tangent right now. But the fact of the matter is we have the opportunity to compete in a time of transition. And hopefully we can see these players play well, which warrants them to get an extension. So we know what's going to be on the team moving forward into those future years.
First, who do you think will be one of the players that will get an extension? And do you think it will be before the season starts or during the season? Because somebody's got to get that extension.
Someone's got to get it. I totally agree. So I have some thoughts on this, and I've been adamant about the fact that if it was between Javi Baez and Chris Bryant, I'm probably going Chris, just because I trust the bat more. I think he has more upside offensively, even though Javi is an elite all-world defender. I totally understand that. When things are bad, they are really bad for Javi. Not saying the same for Chris, but I think Chris has a better understanding of the strike zone. He puts the ball in play more, so on and so forth. So I'm banking on Chris. Do I necessarily think it's going to happen? I don't know. I just think it's just the way he talks about this whole deal is totally different than the way Javi and Rizzo talks, right? Rizzo's like, listen, I'm just going to play and it's going to take care of itself. Javi's saying, I don't want to play for any other team. Chris, on the other hand, says, well, I'm open to listening to any offer they have. And then when you talk about Bryce Harper, he's saying, who's obviously his clear friend. Well, there's going to be a bunch of teams lining up for Chris this offseason. You don't hear that out of the Rizzo camp. You don't hear that out of the Javi Baez camp, but you repeatedly hear it out of the Chris Bryant camp. People might get mad at me for saying that, but you cannot tell me that each and every player on this Cubs team going into free agency has handled themselves in the same manner publicly. And maybe even privately. I don't know that to be true, but at least publicly. You can't tell me that Javi's comments, Rizzo's comments, and Chris Bryant's comments are exactly the same. Do you agree?
Yeah, because the Javi Baez was just recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was recent. Well, they all spoke relatively.
Well,
recently.
yeah, I seen that the praise for wanting to be a Cub forever. Like that's different than the other two, like you said.
Yeah, and I mean, Rizzo. Well, I'm giving Rizzo the benefit of the doubt because he's basically, in my mind, he's basically saying, well, listen, I'm just going to play my game, and that's going to take care of itself. Meaning, like, I think everyone would agree Rizzo probably has the best chance of being extended. So I guess that's what he's speaking to.
Yeah, because of age and a little bit different situation for Rizzo than the other two.
Exactly.
Call me a cynic though too. I mean, I have to think some of this started with Chris Bryant, his mentality 6 years ago when they waited 10 days to call him up or 15 days to call him up.
Are you saying in the sense that it's reasonable for Chris to think that way? Is that what you mean?
No, I think that's where some of the bitterness and maybe the not so much the team team. I don't want to say he's not a team player by any means because I think he is, but that team first mentality where I'm going to give the hometown discount or whatever it may be. I'm willing to just play out my deal, sign my extension. I don't think Bryant's willing to do that. I think we're obviously seeing that, and I think a lot of that still stems from then.
No, I totally agree. And again, I don't mean to, like, I've really tried to have specific or choice words for Chris's situation because I feel like if I went on like a tangent, I feel like I don't really want to blow his spot up. And I understand that he could be frustrated. I understand that the media has mistreated him at times. But to my original point, I just think it's naive to say, well, Chris hasn't done anything differently compared to the other players to warrant the narrative around his Cubs tenure, or specifically over the last couple of years. I just think there's things he's done that, in a way, I'm not going to say has alienated, but has kind of made him more of the outcast in terms of this team moving forward compared to other guys.
What might be personality. I think it's personality as much as anything with
potentially.
Him. I don't think he's got that same kind of outgoing, the charismatic kind of demeanor that Rizzo has, that Baez has, that Contreras has, that even Kyle Schwarber has, that Happ is showing on his podcast and things like that. He's more of that kind of. You always hear about him just grinding and hitting, taking swings all the time. That's all you hear about,
Yeah.
And
no, I hear it.
I love Rizzo too, but he's also in a situation where he can do no wrong to Cub fans because he's been here since the beginning of everything. And then when you see what happens when Chris Bryant goes through the struggles and how it's probably a little different, then he probably sees it that way too.
Yeah, and I preface this all by saying I'm a big fan of Chris Bryant. I
love Chris Bryant. I hope they extend him still.
Yeah, like I said before, I would rather have Chris Bryant than Javi. It's no knock on Javi, but I'd rather have Chris. But back to my point, it just has always felt, and again, people can argue with me on this. They can say you're being unfair. I really don't think I am. I think, though, that, and I guess I'll just say, I don't think Chris has done the best job necessarily engaging with the fans as other players have in their Cubs tenure. People might disagree. If you disagree, that's fine. But again, to my point, I don't think like I said before, I think both sides are to blame in a sense that Chris has been dangled out like a carrot on a stick for teams to make trades for the last 3 years. Everyone knows it. It's the reality of the situation where we haven't seen that with Javier Baez, Anthony Rizzo, so on and so forth. And I think there's a reason for that. It's not just a coincidence. There's a reason for that.
And I know it maybe not so much, but does it have something to do with also who his agent is also?
Yeah, totally. I mean,
just because the way Scott Boras makes his players seem how they're worth so much, and it's just it's just different.
And I'm not saying that Chris isn't worth a lot of money. I'm not saying in the past that he wasn't worth more than he potentially was offered by whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's the relationship between him and the Cubs, between him and Cubs fans at times in the city of Chicago has been different compared to other players, and I think you can make a very clear argument for that. There's going to be a lot of people in Chris's corner that are going to say, no, you're wrong, you're being unfair. I don't think I am. I think I'm looking at this pretty objectively, and just the comments he makes on a routine basis, which he has every right to make. He has every right to say that, yes, I'll pay attention to an offer. But remember, and I try to understand this and take this into account, your words mean something to a lot of people. And it remember, the people in the front office, like Jed and they're humans too. So it's like, are they really going to be like, yeah, we're going to go all in for this guy that at times seems like wishy-washy whether he really wants to be here long term?
Yeah, well,
I think we can all agree that Chris Bryant, we all want him to be a Cub for the rest of his career at this point.
Yeah, absolutely, totally.
Dom, of the new players that the Cubs have acquired over the offseason, who are you expecting to have the most production from?
So we have Jake, we have Jock, we have Trevor Williams, Davies, right? It's a great question. I would probably say Davies, man. Not a lot of people are talking about him because of bad news. I get it. Listen, no one's gonna replicate bad news. It's not gonna happen. But I think in a way, if Kyle Davies that's his name, Kyle, right?
Zach Davies.
Zach Davies, of course, I say it wrong. If he can work with Kyle Hendricks, right? Very similar pitcher. Davies had a really good 2020. I mean, he pitched really well. You look at the numbers, he was great. It was by far his best year, obviously a shortened season. But he's a guy who can pitch every fifth day. Yes, he doesn't throw hard at all. He's very much so like Kyle Hendricks. He's very probably like the clearance rack Kyle Hendricks. But again, it's true. But again, when you think about starting pitcher, and I'm just thinking about like overall production, I think it's very reasonable for Davies to net you at like 3.5 maybe F4, and that would be a really good year. And if the Cubs can get that, I mean, that's solid. I don't know if Jack can necessarily do that, potentially if he's getting platooned by the end of the year because of left-handed pitching struggles. But overall, I'm excited about Davies, not in the sense that he's like a number two, but he can be a guy who can fill the back end of the rotation. And again, I understand our starting staff isn't something to write home about. I'm being incredibly optimistic about Bert. I think he can be a great pitcher. I think Jay can really contribute. They're going to have to piece things together. They're going to have to be very consistent. But overall, I'd say Davies is probably the one guy that you can probably put your money on in terms of being the most productive this year.
I think we got a little bit of a merch idea here. I'm just thinking. You said the clearance rack Kyle Hendricks. Maybe we take red dots, like the red dot tag, like the red dot sticker. Slap hashtag Morel. That's the Davies sticker.
You go.
We're slapping them on bumper stickers. We're putting them on T-shirts.
Red
dots everywhere.
Especially if he's throwing especially if the whole rotation's throwing like 85, it could be like the stop
sign. We're taking off the fastball. We're all throwing 85.
Yeah, slow pitch mafia or something like that. That would be fun.
That'd be awesome.
There we go.
We'll see.
All right. Tell us why we're all going back to church this year in April, starting in April, and explain to our listeners who may be new here why the Jake Arrieta signing is going to be good for this team.
Well, I think we're already seeing it, right, with Bert, with Moralzale. I mean, the fact that he's dialing in with
that's awesome.
with Jake on a regular basis, on a daily basis, they're just dialing it in, and the fact that Bert is, he's all into Church of Jake. The guy's, the next thing you know, he's going to change his Twitter name to Moralzale, and he's retweeting, liking, like he's going to church on a daily basis because he is.
He's awesome on social media.
He's awesome, man. And I think, and again, I love John Lester. I love John Lester Reams. I can't say it enough. But the reality of it is that Jake is a much more similar pitcher to Adbert than John Lester was as a 37-year-old pitcher throwing 89 from the left side. It's not even close. Jake's been there. He's done that. Very similar pitching profile. And to mentor Adbert is huge. Coupling onto the fact that Jake, as we've seen in his career, he's a feel guy. He's a comfort guy. He came to Chicago. He found something that worked for him. Hopefully you can replicate that. He's not going to be 2015, 16. He might be 2017, Jake, maybe. But you're not looking for him to be a dominant guy. You're looking for him to be a leader and a mentor to Adbert and a guy who contribute to this team. Coupling on to the fact that if he pitches on Sundays, he's got an extra bit of juice. He's got Jesus Christ on his side. And that's something I think we can all agree is what we want on a daily basis. Come Sunday, he should only pitch on Sundays. He should only pitch on Sundays. Okay?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
That's it. Only pitches on Sundays. And I'm telling you, if he did, I guarantee you he could compete for like an all-star spot as like a 35-year-old.
I can't wait to read from the book of spin rate this year.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
It's going to be incredible.
Well, he took less money to come to the Cubs, so there must be a reason why he's here.
And I've been saying this the whole time. Give Tommy Hotovy so much credit for what he's done. It's been like the underlying theme with this team. I know people rip on the bullpen, but if you're going to rip on the bullpen, rip on the fact that maybe they whiffed on Kimbrel and they haven't necessarily been incredibly aggressive in like free agency on a consistent basis. But the one thing this team has done is they've built out a bullpen with guys off the trash heap, off the clearance rack, if you will. They brought in guys. Tommy Hotovy worked with Bad News, got him right. He's improved Kyle Hendricks. He's worked with Alec Mills, Burt, the slider. I mean, all this type of stuff. I trust Tommy Hotovy. He's proven it in the bullpen. He's proven it with the starters. And if he has some type of relationship very similar to the relationship Jake had with Chris Bosio in 2014 through 17, I think that's something that we can really benefit from. And it's something that we should be excited about. The fact that we have a pitching coach who has proven to have work really well with whether it be tunneling, pitch, spin rate, all that type of stuff. I don't want to get into the details, but the fact that he understands it, he's worked with these pitchers, and it's proven out on the field is huge. And hopefully Jay can benefit from that.
Yeah, because it's awesome to see him back, and he looks like he's having fun. This team looks like they're having fun this spring training. Fred, what are you kind of looking forward to see what's going on like during spring training? What is there anything you want to see at the end of spring training? Not even on the field, just like maybe some of these players like getting to know each other.
Oh, it's a good question. Well, I think the first one is an extension. I know I've already said that, but we need an extension by the end of this. In terms of what I'm looking for, I mean, probably it would be. Listen, I'm not saying you're going to have young guys step into leadership roles, but I mean, you want to see like some of these younger players. You want to see the guys that you've been looking towards. And I'm not saying Bodie's like a younger player, but if David Bodie's going to be on this team, he's going to have to be like a very important piece who can fill in. He's going to be that utility guy. You can hit lefties well. I mean, a lot of good teams have these players, and we need to start solidifying these roles as we transition into a new group. Not saying the players on the team right now aren't going to be part of that, but we don't necessarily know. And if we don't have extensions figured out, the young players, the guys, like I said, Nico, Bert, like many of these players, Ian Happ, I mean, my guy, like they're the next wave, because I think a lot of people would agree. I don't think we're going to see all four of the core on the team in 2023. It's not going to happen.
I love the Chicago Cubs. I've always loved the Chicago Cubs. What they did with Ian Happ, it didn't set right with me, because I think that's something. If you're fighting over like $500,000 with a player who has been with his organization since he's been drafted. He's worked through the ups and the downs, and now he's playing so well, and you're gonna do this. You're gonna make him go through arbitration. That's just stupid. I think that was stupid.
Stupid. It was stupid. They shouldn't have done it, especially in a time where this is the time where Ian should be working on extensions with this team. I mean, he's like prime candidate number one, if we're being honest. The guy who's still young, he's versatile, he plays multiple positions, switch hitter, he gets on base, OPS above 800. He's consistent. Yeah, sure, he'll strike out, but that's part of the game, and he's a consistent piece on this team for someone to extend on hopefully a deal that was similar to the one Rizzo signed 6-7 years ago, right? I think that's pretty reasonable. And instead of trying to, like you said, Zach, shortchange him $850K for 1 year when he was your best player in 2020, in a year that you won the division, in a year that you had so many of your best players, your mainstay marquee players, play terrible. He was the guy, him and Jason Hayward carried this team throughout the season. And then to shortchange him on that was wrong. And hopefully they don't do that again to any other player.
And that makes you look bad to free agents and stuff. That's just, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Dom, do you think this rotation is good enough to compete for a division?
I think this team. Well, okay, here's the thing. I mean, listen, I guess it just depends on how good you think this division is. I think Kyle Hendricks is a number one, right? And maybe he's not a dominant number one in terms of the stuff, but he's a number one. He pitches like a number one. His stats are like a number one stats minus the strikeout rate. Other than that, if Adbert is a stud, yes. If Moralzale shows up, yes. And again, I'm saying it in a guy that's supporting him. Full throttle. I'm supporting Adbert. But if he's a 5, a guy that's in and out of the rotation, I understand my expectations for this guy, or at least my hopes for this guy, is very high. But if he's in and out of the rotation like a 5th starter, bouncing between then it's no. You need Adbert to be a dude, and we saw him be a key piece in 2020. Again, he's getting the second start in spring training. I know that might not mean everything, but he's getting the second start. So obviously there's something there. He proved it in 2020. If he is a mainstay guy and he shoves, which I think he can do, then yes, this team has the opportunity to win a division. I didn't say World Series, division, and that's what I'm going for this year. Extensions and compete for a division.
Get in the playoffs, and anything can happen from there.
Exactly.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Exactly.
I mean, it's going to be one of those things too. Like, you need to replace 30 starts from Yu Darvish. That's not easily done.
Yeah, no.
So let's be real here. I want to switch gears a little bit though to another guy that's in camp this year, and he got invited to big league camp. And you mentioned his name earlier in the show was Brennan Davis. I'm kind of curious, what's your thoughts on him, and how excited should Cubs fans start getting about this kid?
I think very excited. Big, athletic, raw, ton of power. For everything I hear, great work ethic, great kid. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be excited about it. I don't know if it's because the fact that the Cubs have these big name guys per se that he potentially isn't talked about enough, or the fact that the minor league season in 2020 was shut down. But I mean, I'm not saying he's like on the cusp of entering the major leagues, but man, it's hard to find some of these guys that have the tools that he has, and if he can put the ball in play, and we know the power's there, I don't see how he wouldn't be a key contributor moving forward, and a guy that can be a corner piece or a piece in the outfield that we had all hoped Jason Hayward would be, right? A guy who can be athletic. Obviously, Jason has a great glove. One of those types of guys, and I think even more so, I think Brennan Davis has the opportunity to hit for a lot more power than Hayward did. God bless him, he had a great 2020, but hopefully he's a guy that we can all be excited about, maybe even in 2022, possibly coming up. I'm super excited. I think he has all the potential in the world, and this is what I've been talking about in the sense that we need to figure out who is a part of 2022, 23, 24, while understanding that we're in a time of transition right now, which we are.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this team can do with like the younger guys, but you also got to see what they're going to do with the older guys too. Fred, how big is it that there will be a limited amount of fans allowed at Wrigley Field?
Huge. We need people in the Federal Landmark. It's going to be electric. I'm just excited. I mean, there's so much of it too that, at least personally for me, I mean, like my everyday game day experience is, I think, a little bit different than everyone else, considering I get so many tweets and so many mentions of people. I mean, like that's the thing I do kind of miss is people being in the bleachers and people, whatever, just like tweeting me, screaming at Kyle Schwarber, telling him that he's their left fielder and all that type of stuff, right? And hopefully we can get that again. Hopefully it's the same thing of, and again, I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to get too much into details, but hopefully people, they let me know when they use the trough for the first time in 18 months, right? Like they went through that rite of passage. They went shoulder to shoulder, responsibly in the troughs to build some morale, right? That type of stuff that I think's exciting. The fact that people can be in the federal landmark again, and hopefully increase the performance of a guy like Javi Baez, who said that it was terrible playing in front of an empty stadium. And hopefully he can turn it around and become the player that we know he can be at shortstop. So it's going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot more like content you can play with in terms of like my job, if you will, which I'm excited about. And just seeing those people at the ballpark and, making Wrigley Field what it is and the federal landmark that it is something that we should all enjoy.
All right, we've beat the Cubs to death here with morale, and I'm going to switch gears again. How are things looking at landing a QB for our faithful along the lake?
Well, here's the thing.
Are you bringing us Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, Dom?
Here's the thing, and a lot of people were. Well, I'm not going to say a lot of people, but a lot of people were skeptical by the fact that I started recruiting Russell Wilson. At the same time, I was recruiting Deshaun Watson, and I'm saying to everyone, if Nick Saban or Urban Meyer or Dabo Sweeney,
you're not going after one.
Exactly. They picked one guy, and that's all no, that's not how it works. I need to put my eggs in many nests, right? I need to make sure that I have all my bases covered in the event that Houston doesn't trade Deshaun Watson. Or
you've offered 2 scholarships
exactly
to the first one that accepts.
Exactly. And I don't think I should be criticized for that. And
Absolutely not.
No.
If one of them does come to Chicago, like I said before, it's going to be Saban, Urban, Dom.
Frankly, Ryan Pace should be doing the exact same thing. He should be going after both of them anyway. So
literally, Ryan Pace should be making just private jet flights to Seattle and Houston on a routine basis. He should be going there. I should be going to each city 2 times a week to hash this out and get it done, and literally give either team whatever they want, because if you don't have a QB in this league, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. And this is why the Chicago Bears have been the way they've been. I'm not saying I'm a football expert, but the fact that if you don't have a QB, you're not going to do anything. I'm sorry. It's why the Bears have been what they are.
That's sadly very true.
Yes.
But it's pretty wild though that the players on a team with a quarterback still on the roster were openly.
Oh yeah, openly.
Yeah.
I mean, more so than Dom was.
I love it, but it's just one of those things.
You need a QB.
Whoa. Yeah. They know.
I mean, you need a QB. It's just and you know what? I would be surprised too if Nick Foles or even Mitch was I understand. I understand. It's a hard job. It's the hardest job in sports.
But they also get paid a lot of money to do it, so that helps a little bit. Last question here, Dom. Me and Matt have been checking you out on that new app, Clubhouse. For your rides home from work.
Yep.
How are those going, and when can we expect some more of those?
We're gonna have another one this week. We're gonna try to make them a routine or a weekly thing on a routine basis. We're going to have it this week. It's going to be in the evening. It's not going to be on the ride home to cater to those who are actually still working during that time. So Probably on Wednesday, maybe Tuesday. We'll see. It depends on my schedule and Adam's schedule. But yes, it's going to be this evening. I think it's been great. If you have thoughts on your own, Zach, I know you were in the last one. Let me know what you thought. I think it's great to chat with fans. It allows me to also branch out into new mediums, and I think I've struggled with it in the past. Like, I've never really wanted to start a podcast per se because I didn't want it to be too repetitive, and I think you all doing it yourselves can understand, like, you don't always have enough topics to talk about, so on and so forth. It's challenging, right? And
Yeah, especially what we just went through.
yeah, it's really challenging. So I didn't want
especially when you got Booby to host with too.
Yeah, I know, I hear you. So it's like I didn't want to get into those situations, but I think this is something fresh. It allows me to engage with the fans, and I think for the people that, again, I know there are a lot of people out there that just think I'm a total psycho nut job because they don't understand the jokes and they don't understand the shticks. Like, if you want to hop in and have an actual conversation, I'm more than happy to do so, and hopefully that can get people kind of understanding the whole humor along with the whole thing. And I think you guys would know because we've talked enough that, like, I am pretty objective about the team. Like, yes, I know I hype the team up and I get it, but like I am fairly realistic. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you.
I mean, I'm not over the top.
Yeah, because you know so much about definitely. The players too.
Yeah, I'm not like this year. I don't think the Cubs aren't World Series favorites. I think we have a reasonable shot to win the division. It's not like the division is great. And if the Cubs do win this division and the division stinks, I'm not going to apologize for it. I will not apologize for it. I'm sorry, I won't.
You reference yourself being a nutcase. It's okay to be realistic and a nutcase at the same time. It's quite all right. We all are, man.
Yeah. So I appreciate it. So yes, I think House is great. I'm looking forward to it. We'll have it again, like I said before, probably this Tuesday or Wednesday evening. And
it's been a lot of fun.
Send those invites. And if you have your own personal thoughts on how I can make it better or whatever, just let me know. But the first two were awesome. They each went for like an hour long, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, it's been a good change of pace for the week too, to get something different to listen to. It's been a pleasure.
It's kind of like a radio show, pretty much.
And that's why I agree. I kind of, and I've always thought to myself, like, if I wanted to do a podcast, I would want to do it where people can call in and share their thoughts. I mean, if you think about Clubhouse, like after a game, a Clubhouse will be popping, right? And it's better than an Instagram Live because Instagram Live is so sketchy and the feed isn't always good. Like Clubhouse, it's like you said, Zach, you have your own radio station.
Let's not kid ourselves. The comments get in the way in an Instagram Live too.
And let's be real with it. People want to be able to go to other apps while they're listening to you. And with Clubhouse, you can leave the app, and you don't have, like with the Instagram Live. If you get out of the app, you lose the feed.
Exactly. And I don't have a whole lot of interest in looking at too many people's faces for like more than like 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
It makes it so much easier to get people on because that's some of the stuff that people are like, oh, we got to use the camera. How we can get this set up? It's like talking on the phone.
It's super simple, and I think it's awesome. So we'll see what happens, and it's definitely going to be something that I use a lot this year. And I think, I mean, like I said before, walk-off wins or any big news, you just hop on Clubhouse and get it moving. I think right now we're making it a weekly thing just because there aren't as many topics from week to week. But in the season, it's definitely going to be something that's going to be used a lot.
Frankly, for you too, I think you could use it to kind of get a pulse on the fan base a little bit too at times in a different capacity, for your own purposes. So I don't know. I think it's great. Obviously we're talking about you on Clubhouse. We know we can find you on Instagram and Twitter at Dom_Frederic. Dom, it's been a blast as usual, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
You got it.
I don't have anything else to ask you. Zach, do you got anything else to ask our guy here?
No, I'm just ready to get the season going. Monday, I think they play like at 2:00 or something, first game of the year. Cubs in 4, like always.
Cubs in 4, and then hopefully we can get on the golf course.
Yes.
Get on the golf course.
Need
some hard hats.
the snow to melt finally, and then we can finally get back on the golf
It's gonna
course.
happen. I think. I don't know out there, but I think the snow's gonna melt like by Wednesday.
Let's hope. I need that.
Huge. Anyways, yes. Thanks, guys. Again, it was awesome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
As always, thanks to our guy, Dom Frederic, for coming on as the Cubs season is right around the corner with spring training kicking off. Always good to hear from the Dom. Let's jump into our media recommendations this week. For those of you that don't know, this is either a podcast, movie, TV show, video game, whatever you've been doing to keep yourself busy. What do you guys have, Zach?
This is for all the people who love The Office. I know he's done another one that just kind of went a little bit into The Office. It was called The Oral History of The Office. But it's Brian Baumgartner. He was Kevin Malone on The Office. It's called The Office Deep Dive with Brian Baumgartner. It's on Apple Pod. It's on all the pods. And he's got Rainn Wilson. He's got Pam, Angela. He's got all them. I think so. He has 4 episodes already. So he'll have all the cast on. But like I said, if you love The Office, some people just can't get enough of that Office talk. I mean, it's crazy.
It's a classic now. Like, everybody's seen The Office, whether you love it or hate it, everybody's seen it. Everybody knows a little bit about it. So I'll have to check that out. Kevin was always one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, if you hate it, you can just go ahead and get the hell out of here, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a podcast and a movie. Everybody knows about my movie binge. Movie this week is The King's Speech. Won, I believe, a couple Academy Awards maybe for it. Very good movie, set in England in the mid-1900s. Just very well shot, well done. It's on Amazon Prime, so go check that one out. And then podcast, this actually goes back to a guest we have had on our podcast. I've been really delving into Meet Dave with our friend Dave Williamson, the comedian. Obviously, spring and summer right around the corner. I'm a big grill guy. I love, the flat top I got, and been listening to him. He's obviously got, some comedian friends on it, but he has like grill masters and, pit masters and stuff like that. It's really dorky to tell people how much I love grilling and that I actually listen to a podcast about it. But Dave's a really, really funny dude, and it's really interesting stuff, and kind of goes into like how the restaurant business even works and, different stuff that they do. It's just really, really good. Go check out Meet, MEAT, Meet Dave.
Excellent. Boys, you guys know I'm a dad. And most of my free time, when I get it, I'm watching sports at this point because don't really get control of the TV too frequently. So it's pretty much whatever's going to keep him remotely happy or not screaming or hitting or throwing anything at us. So, but Disney Plus and Moana, the Disney classic Moana, Dynamite.
Very good movie.
Love it.
The soundtrack. Oh my God. The soundtrack it's hit after hit after hit after hit. It's just,
and Matt, it's a soundtrack that makes you feel like you're on a beach.
It absolutely does. I told Maggie if we can get a vacation here sometime this summer, get to a beach. I told her I'm putting one of those songs like as we're walking up onto the sand. Like,
yes,
and that's just like we watch this movie probably twice a day right now. When it's all said and done, so it's firmly entrenched in my head. The Rock, a dynamite character, is Maui. My God, just steals the show. Guy's a wrestler, he's an actor, he does it all. 5 stars from him. And that
might be the next president of this country.
Unbelievable movie. I know I'm about 6 years too late at this point for giving a full review of a movie that everybody saw half a decade ago. But I'm giving it now, and I firmly recommend that movie to anybody.
Great poll, Maddie. Yeah, it's one of those. I don't know. There's some Disney movies where I'm like, maybe they don't need as much singing, but like you get over it. And Moana was just perfectly done. And like you said, with the the soundtrack, with the weather, it's been better the last week or so. But like 2 weeks ago, I play music and at work, and there's sometimes that will come on the shuffle, and that's one of those that just kind of make you forget that it's -5 out, and you kind of feel like you're, like you said, walking up to the beach. So that's a good pull there.
Well, like the crazy grandma, like she would tell some
Yes.
like wild stories of the past and stuff. You never knew if you could believe her or not. My dad's mom was the same way. She would tell these tales like you never knew what to believe, if she was full of it or if she was making something up, or if she was like maybe kind of a wizard, something like that. But it's like one of those things you just like you can relate to it there. So really cool movie, good story,
really underrated character.
Oh yeah, hey, it's dynamite character.
Hilarious idiot.
Best supporting role, right there, bar none.
There we go. There's our Disney movie review for the week. We'll have a new one next week, Maddie. So make sure you get
maybe that's my new media recommendation. I'm giving you guys a new Disney review each week.
What Disney Plus poll can Matt come up with this week? I love it.
Toy Story 4 coming in hot.
Oh boy, I have to prepare. I haven't seen that one. Let's move into our TCF top 5 this week. 2 weeks ago, we did the TCF top 5 of our fast food order or fast food meal. And this week, we're going to do a sit-down meal. These have to be kind of like national chains, and you have to sit down and eat at these different places. So we're going to do an app, a side, an entree, a dessert, and kind of a signature alcoholic beverage. I have randomly chosen the order. I have not gone first in a while, so I'm going to go ahead and go first. Yeah, funny how that works, right, Zach? I'm going to go, and this is all across the board because I don't know if there's any like bad picks here, but I'm going to go with my dessert because I think that's a limited category, and I am going to go with the fudge lava cakes from Applebee's.
Oh, that's a good one.
They usually get, I think you get them in a 2-pack, little ice cream on top. You break it open. Bubbling hot lava fudge. Let me in.
Wow.
You get to go second.
Who, Zach? Or me?
You, Matt.
Me? All right.
You.
It kind of cut out there. I didn't hear. All I heard was "go next." I'm like, wait, what? Talking directly? Or
it was a trick.
I gotcha. All right. I'm gonna take a category that I don't think is very deep. Personally, that's entree. I don't think there's a ton of like entrees that stand out at chain restaurants. I think chain restaurants pop out to you on the sides and desserts. So that's where I'm going to get creative in the apps. So I'm going to get the entree out of the way so I can get my number 1 there, and that is the Texas Roadhouse ribeye. Dynamite steak for a chain restaurant. Like, I mean, we're talking like borderline steakhouse like quality steak in my opinion when it's done right, and usually you can get it done right. It's Texas Roadhouse, higher end of the chain restaurants in my opinion, of the ilk, so to say. So I'm going to go with their ribeye, especially if you can get a nice one done medium rare.
Good choice, Maddie. Zach, you get 2 here, buddy.
I'm gonna go dessert, Chili's, the big cookie you get, the warm cookie with ice cream on it, amazing. And then one of my appetizers is gonna be the can I just go basic like spinach and artichoke dip? That's like at most places. I guess like Applebee's is what I could say or whatever. But
we'll give you Applebee's spinach.
Yeah, pick the one you prefer best, but that would definitely fall into a category, I would say. Yeah. Either an app or a side, either one.
Yeah, I love spinach and artichoke dip.
Great choice. Matt, back to you.
All right. I want an appetizer, and I want the Outback Awesome Blossom to go with the steak. So
the blooming onion thing?
The blooming onion, the Awesome Blossom. You know what that thing is? You don't like those things?
No, I don't.
It's like a fried onion. It's just like a big plate of onion rings. With
all right,
awesome
and I have to say I'm not a fan, but and I have to tell you why. I've only had it once, and it was super like soggy and oily.
Oh
and,
no! You've never been to Outback.
It was not.
Yeah, no, wait. The blooming onion is dynamite, dude. Especially if you. Oh, what are you guys talking about? Soggy.
That's what mine was soggy. They like I don't know. No, it was from
Outback. I believe theirs is the Bloomin' Onion. I'm like
Yeah.
99% sure. It's been a while since I've been there, but the Bloomin' Onion. What are we talking about? It's soggy. I don't get this.
I don't know,
Have
like the oil.
It must
Like,
have
do you
been a
not
bad.
like onion
I'm
rings?
guessing.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I just
Do
had a
you
bad
like
one.
onion rings or no?
Yeah, they're okay.
All right.
I'm guessing we just had a miscommunication here.
Yeah, I think I might have just had a bad batch, but it was like it felt like the oil like cooled on the bottom, and like
I'm just
the
very
crispiness of
disappointed.
the fire just wasn't there.
I forgot who does the Awesome Blossom, but I'm pretty sure Outback's is the Bloomin' Onion. I'm like 99% sure. And I want Outback's, which is I believe is the Bloomin' Onion.
I think it's not a bad. It's a very, very, very popular appetizer. So
yeah, the sauce is good too.
Yeah, that I will give you that. I do think I used the sauce on the burger that I had or whatever entree. Is it my pick now? I get two, right? All right. I am going to go to my entree and one of Zach's restaurants that he chose. I'm going to go. This is a basic pick, but I love them. Chili's, give me the chicken crispers. They give you like 4 dipping sauces. They're not like regular chicken tenders. They're like lightly battered. If you haven't had a Chili's chicken crispers, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
That sounds amazing.
They're very good, and they're not like a lot of times when you think like chicken tenders, you just think of like the basic like picture if you just Google chicken tenders, where they're like super hard breading. They're not like that at all. They give you a ton of different dipping sauces. They're not overly cooked. They're perfect, and I don't know if I've had a bad experience with them. Not that I get them a ton, but they're always consistent. And I'm not like a big like when I go out to eat, I get chicken strips, but like that's one of those places. I'll skip a lot of things on the menu to get some of those chicken crispers. Matt, you're muted.
God damn it! As long as they're not too fried, those things get overcooked. Those things dry out and they're useless. I just want to say that they're good. Don't screw them up though. That's key.
But you're not wrong. Hang on, I think I got
my
two
turn. Or
here.
you got a second one? Okay,
I got one more.
Too. Gotcha.
Oh boy. I'm gonna go with my side, and I am going to go with the Texas Roadhouse bread and butter. The bread they give you with cinnamon butter. That's a no-brainer. That is one of the best sides that a restaurant will provide for you, and you get it every time.
I think that's a good pick. I think obviously I went with Texas Roadhouse's ribeye, so I am a fan of their the biscuit with the honey butter. So you can't go wrong with that, in my opinion. However, I'm going to counter your bread for my side, which is also in that same category. Different restaurant, Red Lobster, the cheddar biscuit.
Damn, I
biscuit with the baked-in chips. Oh my Lord!
Those are incredible.
I could eat 700 of those when I go to that place. Absolute must get extra to bring home to throw in the microwave.
They're so good.
They do something else at a later date.
At the frozen food section of like Walmart.
You don't like those, or you do?
No. That's what I'm saying. They're so good that like they sell them outside of the restaurant.
Gotcha.
That's a great.
Okay.
Yeah, they are dangerous when you go there for all you can eat shrimp, and then you eat like 9 biscuits, and then you're like, wow, I can eat like 10 shrimp today.
4,000 calories or carbs there alone just with the biscuits. But
so are we
well worth it?
Are we doing one app and one side, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either or, just mix them up. They're basically in my opinion.
My side is the side salad at Ruby Tuesday.
That was a good one. That was going to be my go-to if someone took cheddar biscuit. I like it.
Salad bar at Ruby
Tuesday.
That thing, I don't know. There was a lot of amazing stuff.
Tons of options. Good awesome. Salad. I know because I'm fat, Boomy, but
then there's like
me to get a salad, but I do like their salad selections. Yeah, it's great pick, Zach. Great pick.
I'm not a salad guy, but I did enjoy going because, like you said, they had the pasta salad. They had, anything more than just salad. It's like the one place that seemed to have it. You didn't have to be.
R.I.P. salad bars, though, post-COVID at this point, right?
Oh, yeah. My alcoholic drink, a Long Island from Applebee's.
Can't go wrong.
Not
I
bad.
mean,
Tried and true.
I don't usually get anything other than like a beer.
It's
at
good because
most
you're going to Applebee's. You're going to get something fun, like just hey, let's juice it up a little bit here. So yeah, I got no problems with that. I will piggyback your cocktail. I'm going to take margarita on the rocks from On the Border. Good solid margarita, good Mexican joint. Great food there. Good margaritas. It's always a good counter, but margarita can go with my steak too. Like I said, my cheddar biscuits. I got no problems with that. And On the Rocks, really solid margarita with good tequila.
Good choice. Can't argue that one. I'm going to go to my appetizer. And this is just a personal pick of mine. It's one of those things, like when you go out with someone, like me and my wife, every time we go out to dinner, when we get appetizers, we always get, if the place has pretzel, like a big pretzel or pretzel sticks. Applebee's has the best pretzel sticks in the game. They got a honey mustard or not even, like kind of like a spicy brown mustard, and then they give you the cheese to dip it in. You can't go wrong. So I'm going to go with Applebee's pretzel sticks as my app, and then my drink for the last round. Boy, there's some good ones here. I'm going to go Flaming Mai Tai from TGI Fridays. I've had it twice. It's incredible. They light it on fire. That's part of the allure. It honestly probably wasn't even that great of a Mai Tai, but it was like
the circus clown inside a booby jumps out there for a minute.
Yeah, it's very, very easy to distract me and like get my attention. Lighting a drink on fire is an easy way to
I have zero problem with you taking that. I'm going to take
a sparkler in a Busch Light. I'd probably like it more than a Busch Light without a sparkler.
When you bring a drink like that over to the table, I'm going to wrap mine up with my dessert, and I'm going to ask for that at the same time just to enjoy something while that's going on. And for my dessert, it's going to be the Applebee's. I think we've had a lot of Applebee's desserts tonight.
We're big Applebee's.
Maple butter blondie that they do.
Ooh.
It's like instead of the brownie, it's the blondie, and they do like a caramel sauce with like I think they put chopped nuts and then ice cream on that thing. And oh baby, that thing's solid, really good.
Does it compete with the lava cakes? Because I can never get myself to order that one. The lava cakes on the menu.
Personally, yes, I think it's better than the lava cakes.
Okay.
But I do think the lava cakes are good. But
all right, I'll try it next time just because of your recommendation.
The caramel and the chopped nuts, man, it's always a good effect in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So all I've got left is entree. I'm just gonna say like a good bacon cheeseburger from a place.
Okay.
I don't really know who has a good bacon cheeseburger, but like that's what I would say.
Oh, the above, basically.
Yeah.
I got one Red Robin bacon cheeseburger.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
That is good.
There were some
very good. I thought about their fries. Was it possible for one of my sides? I like the steak fries are good.
I had Applebee's fries written down. I don't know what. Apparently, we are just diehard Applebee's guys here. But
I'm not a big Applebee's fan, but
combination thing. I even had a couple honorable mentions. I had the quesadilla burger from Applebee's. The street tacos from Buffalo Wild Wings were really good. I was going to try this, but I didn't want to create this big of an argument. I was going to go with all-you-can-eat shrimp at Red Lobster.
I mean, if you say shrimp, I assume you can eat as much as you can handle.
Coconut shrimp would have been my choice. I love coconut shrimp from Red Lobster. Drinks wise, I had a couple other ones. I don't know if you tell me if you guys have had these. The Blackberry Mojito at Outback, that's incredible.
No.
And then
I don't mind mojitos at all. Those are pretty solid.
Love a good mojito. They have a Long Island thing at Olive Garden. And that's another one none of us took was breadsticks from Olive Garden.
That was on my list. That was on my backups in case some of mine got stolen. Breadsticks from Olive Garden, even though it's just like, it seems simple. It's like going home for Christmas kind of thing, or for a holiday. It's just it's comfort.
Mr. Reliable.
Yeah.
The ravioli from Olive Garden are amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge Olive Garden fan outside of the breadsticks, but I could just eat 1,000 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story. Me and my wife went to Olive Garden for the first time together, maybe like a year. We've been together almost 10 years now, I think like 9 years. We went to Olive Garden for the first time like a year and a half ago, and she legitimately, it was the first time we went because we got there. She's like, I didn't think you liked Olive Garden. I'm like, where did you ever get that notion from? I don't know. I'm like, I love Olive Garden. I don't know how we made it like 8.5 years without realizing we both liked Olive Garden, and we have one. We drive by it all the time. So Olive Garden it's not great, but it gets the job done. So any other misses we had, fellas, that we forgot?
I thought B-Dub's wings, your
Yep.
chili queso dip is not a bad appetizer either.
Eh.
They're good. They'll get the job done. One I've gotten into.
There's a queso, I think, from TGI Fridays that's pretty good, too. I thought
Hard
that
to beat
queso was solid.
For
Hard
sure.
to beat a good queso, fellas. Let us know what we missed on the Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter at typical_Chicago. Facebook and Instagram, just head to those and type in typical Chicago fans, like those pages. Let us know there what we missed. Head over to YouTube, subscribe there for all of our content in video form. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts. Make sure you follow Zach on Twitter at ZLiliaTCF, and of course Maddie at schools_01. Check out our friends over at 26shirts.com Chicago. Use promo code typical Chicago fans for 15% off of your order of amazing clothes, hoodies, shirts, hats, flags, whatever you need. They got great stuff. 15% off, promo code typical Chicago fans at 26shirts.com/Chicago. Boys, that was episode 98. We're just a couple of weeks away from episode 100. So make sure you stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in. We love you all.
Peace.
Shoot.